if you are ready, just take a seat. Or if you feel like it today, welcome to lay down on your mat. I often start seated, but some people really enjoy it laying down. I love seated because if I lay down, I sometimes think it's too hard to get up again. So that's why I actually prefer starting seated. But that's just, I think it's a matter of temper, and because I've been working out right now, getting down is a bit hard getting up again. A comfortable seated position doesn't have to look like mine, so whatever works for your knees and your back. If you have a sore back or anything, you might fold your mat a little bit and just sit on it so it elevates you a little bit, or even take a blanket or pillow if you have it. That will help you as we sit here and breathe for a little bit, not to feel sore in everything, because it's hard to sit here if you're not used to it. Okay, I think it is safe to start. Welcome, warm welcome, heartfelt welcome to CrossYoga live training today. My name is Ria, and I will be guiding you through a CrossYoga slow class. This means that we will be using time in each posture to feel what it does to our bodies, what it does to our emotions maybe. And we will use both strength postures and, of course, stretching poses that will get into our backs and our hips and our shoulders. But for now, I hope you sit comfortably, whatever that looks like, on your mat. Tall spine, maybe your navel a little bit engaged so that you help your core sit up tight. And then close your eyes. And these times are strange. I can say that many times. But right now we don't want to focus on Corona or what we cannot control. Right now we want to focus on our breath. So inhale and exhale. Relaxing your whole face, shoulders as you breathe. And today I would like to start our time together with a prayer. If you're not used to praying or not sure what it is, just let your ears hear, and let's be with whatever comes to you. And to help us pray, we can use different hand gestures. So you can take your palms together in front of your chest, eyes still closed. God, we come to you today, maybe with our hearts, our bodies, our mind a little bit closed due to stress or worries or anxieties about what's going on. But God, help us to open up, receive your love and your energy. Help us to receive your grace given to us through Jesus Christ, died, death on the cross and resurrection again. And if you know your heart that it's okay and you feel like it, you can open up your hands, your palms, in whatever way works for you. Just maybe take your hands a little bit out to the side, out of just holding your hands or leaving down with the palms facing up on your thigh. Just opening up your body, your chest, your hands. Inhale and exhale. So Lord God, let us be influenced by you, infected by you. Let our minds be focused on your peace and not the world around us. Take your hands down on the mat, right hand on your right side, left hand on your left. Lift your left hand above your head, go for a side stretch to your right side. So gently lean over, no huge stretching here. And then gauge your core as you lift your hands above your head and left hand reach the floor, right hand above and then to your left side. And try to do this a few more times. Normally I would do it with the pace of our breath, but now just close your eyes and move slowly. Move softly. Staying in one side stretch, one side bend as long as you want to. And try to go for as soft arms and shoulders as you can. Not thinking about doing it right. Thinking about getting the right stretch. But just move. And take the last stretch. Gently find downward facing dog. So hands to the front end of your mat, spreading out your fingers and slowly walking yourself, moving yourself into down dog. Hip width apart with your feet, and make sure you can move your legs, bending your one knee at the time. Making sure your hips moves with you. Maybe a small bend in your elbow. And then come down on your knees. Knees above or just stacked under your hips, toenails on the floor, and then lean back. Child's pose or almost. Take your hands a little bit closer so you can get up on all fours, tabletop in just a minute. Now come up on all fours. Take your back towards the sky like the cat. And maybe move a little bit from side to side. And then do your cow, lifting up your head. Coming back to straight spine. Taking right hand, just lifting it up towards the sky. And gently take your fingernails underneath your armpit on the floor and come down, not going into a deep stretch, but more just finding it and then coming back on tabletop and glutes back, child's pose. Forehead on the ground, take a breath. And let's do this one more time. Coming up, arching your back, your cat. Slowly move into your cow pose. Find a straight spine, engage your core as you take up your left hand towards the sky. And again, thread the needle somewhat without staying in the stretch, at least for now. Warming up a little bit our spine until we take the pace down, child's pose again. And then do this a few more times on each side. Slowly come into your cat pose, cow pose. Straight spine, take your right hand up. And if you can make it work on an exhale, take your shoulder down, hands out to the side. Coming back on all fours, child's pose. Try to close your eyes and just move, lifting up again. Arching your back. Straight spine, left hand moves up. And like a wave, threading the needle. Back on all fours. Child's pose. One more time. Lifting up like a wave, coming up on the shore. Cow pose. Straight spine, right hand. Threading the needle. Take the last tour. Won't be saying anything, just do it with the rhythm, the pace that feels natural to you. And as you get down in child's pose again, maybe you take a little bit wider stand on your knees so you have more space for your chest and belly. Maybe take your hands forward, palms facing up. And listen to this verse that I found. Message version, John 3. It is Paul that's writing. He's writing to his congregation, calling them children. My dear children, let's not just talk about love. Let's practice real love. This is the only way we'll know that we are living truly, living in God's reality. A little bit later it says, for God is greater than our worries and knows more about us than we do ourselves. I will repeat the verse a little bit later. Now take your hands a little bit further to the front end of your mat and find your downward facing dog. This is a triangle pose with your hips lifted. And if you feel unsure about how wide or how much distance there's supposed to be between hands and feet, think of your posture almost like a triangle with even sides. Maybe that's helpful. Walking your feet to the front end of your mat. Taking your feet, your knees completely together. Vertebrae by vertebrae, finding mountain pose. Take your hands up, high mountain, palms together. And maybe you interlace your fingers and let your pointy fingers just reach up like an antenna, reaching up. Living in love. Let's reach up and receive God's love that will help us live in love. Move down into your chair pose, hands still lifted above your head, but maybe leaning a little bit more forward. Then take your hands still, hands straightened out, and do a twist. Take right elbow on the outside of your left knee and do your twist. Try to go for shoulders stacked above each other, knees almost aligned with each other. Keep breathing here. One last big breath. Coming back, releasing your hands, straightening out your legs, forward folds. If you feel a little bit uncertain about going to a forward fold with feet together, just widen your stance a little bit. Bend your knees, step your right leg just one step behind you, pyramid pose, we call it in Danish. So feet pointing forward, but hip width apart for the distance with our feet. Coming up, standing at least for a split second. This would be the easier way to hold your hands if you want to do this, or if you can do your have your palms together and behind your back, elbows out, like prayer pose behind you. Go for that. But don't do anything that hurts, okay? Straighten out both legs without hyperextending. Hips closed, and then lean forward. A little bit of balance here, or a lot of it. Doesn't have to lean really deep, but go as low as you can. Feel something in the back of your legs. Wherever you are, wherever you feel successful in this pose or not, breathe, knowing that you're doing your best. Release your hands. Taking left leg that's in front and take it behind you, at least for now. Coming up, standing, dancer's pose. Just gonna turn to be able to see. Left hand moves behind you, so pinky fingers point forward. Take a hold of the arc of your foot, and then try to kick your foot into your hand a little bit. You can take your right hand forward. So this can be your dancer's pose. Or if you can lean a little bit more forward, rounding your back, go for that. If you can somewhat keep your balance. Huge breaths, calm face, lots of activity in your ankle. And release. Feet beside each other, mountain pose, maybe swaying from side to side just to let go of any uncomfort you might feel. I've been thinking about infections. Maybe you have too. But I'm also thinking about what actually infects me. Not virus, but what am I allowing to infect my everyday life? What's good? What's true? That I'm allowing to infect me and my thoughts, my mind? And what is actually just pure junk food? If you know there is something, some junk food, something you're affecting yourself with that's not healthy, maybe name it inside yourself or even speak it out loud and then exhale. Let it go. Maybe it's some bad TV. Maybe it's some competition, comparing with the neighbors, with anyone that you can watch online, social media. Release and let go. Taking your feet together again, knees again together. Coming down your chair pose, palms together. If it was too hard interlacing your fingers, just take your hands, palms together, arms straight. Here we get our shoulders involved as well. And then find a twist. This time left hand on right side, moving down. I see a lot of people doing the twist like this, where their hips are higher than their shoulders. If you can try to take your hips down, shoulders a little bit higher than your hips, that is where we want to try to go. Breathe deeply. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Oh, it's nice to stretch out the legs a little bit. Now, instead of stepping back as we did before, we're stepping forward, and this time our right leg. So now I'm doing like a monkey here, stepping it a little bit forward. Coming up, standing again. Remember, hip width apart, not moving your hip out to the side. Palms together behind you, or some other version that works for you, holding your hands. And as you do a huge exhale, you lean forward, maybe stopping just here. Some of these poses, they look pretty easy, but when you're in them, you will know it takes a bit of effort, right? One last breath. Let it go. The left leg, you take it a little bit forward, getting ready to dance. Right shoulder moves back, pinky finger again to the front. No, not hurrying anything. Take a hold of the inside, the sole of your foot. Take a moment to catch your breath and to keep your balance, and then kicking your foot out. Arching your back, hand forward. And I am sure that you look beautiful in this pose, okay? Maybe think about God looking at you, thinking, man, she is just such a wonderful creation. I'm so happy I made him or her. I made you. Smiling at you as you're dancing. Letting go. Not of the smiling of God, but of the pose. Inhale, wave your hands above your head and forward fold as you exhale. Working a little bit on our knees. So right knee or foot come behind you and fold your mat. Or use a pillow or whatever works so you have a little bit of extra support on your knee. Take your hands, shoulders on the inside of your kneecap, making sure knees and ankle are above each other here. And instead of going on your elbows, maybe you're used to that, trying to lean forward, take your hands a little bit further forward. Release tension you have in your hamstrings here, and let your hips sink as low as you can. Walking your hands back. Coming back on right knee, stretching out. Left leg, toes pointing up. Maybe take your leg a little bit forward if it's way too much out to the side for you. If you can reach the floor here, take something that extends your hands and elevates you a little bit. If you can reach the floor or doesn't have any problem here, lean forward, forehead or even your chin towards your knee. And release. Stepping your front foot back. Maybe being a little bit on all fours, moving freely. Folding your left side of your mat as you are gonna have left knee down there. Right foot to the front. Whole sole of the foot on the floor, not lifting. See a lot of people who are trying to do something like this, so make sure that foot is pretty much forward. Shoulders on the inside of your kneecap, and as we did before, walk your hands forward. Let your head go down in between your hands. I don't know if you can see this, but try. And with me, it takes a few seconds until I can release muscle tension in my hips, and I kind of allow my body to be in this pose without using strength or restraining myself. Walking your hands back. Stretching front leg, toes up. Remember, something for your hands if you need to, and then go for your forward fold. Before I ask you what's infecting you or affecting you, influencing you. But you can also turn or switch that question around. What are you influencing or infecting the world with? Bitterness? Negative thoughts? I'm not saying this to like say, that's too bad, but more being aware of what we actually infect or bring to the world. Sometimes we think our action doesn't matter, but it does. It does matter. Here you go, bend your front leg again. Coming on all fours. Of course, we all sometimes infect the world with bad stuff, just because we are human. Yeah, but do you have patterns that maybe always think of the negative things? And maybe you need to let that go and be infected by some of God's more positive thoughts. Coming into seated pose, still stay in that mind space. Tall spine. Let's do a little bit of a neck stretch. Right hand above your head here, take a hold of your ear and gently move to the side. Your left hand can either go out to the side here or behind you. I actually prefer behind. You can close your eyes, stay here, breathe. Release your head. And move to the opposite side, of course. Directly to the side. No pulling of your head. And move your head back. Stretch out your legs. If you know plow pose with your legs above your head, you're welcome to do that one. I won't show it now, but just so you know, you're welcome to do that. Small bend in your knees. Make sure as you lean forward, you lean forward with your chest. Not like this, chest. And then take a hold of whatever you can reach, maybe your toes, maybe your feet, and pull a little bit forward. You will probably feel this in your lower back, especially if you have a little bit of a bend in your knee. If your hip flexors are pretty flexible, you might just extend your legs, but I want to focus on our lower back to get into that part of our body. See if your chest can move a little bit further forward and down. Like we're pulling an elastic band on our lower back, at least that's what I picture in my mind. And let go. If you start to feel a little bit cold, You might grab some socks. We just have 1 or 2 more stretches before laying down, resting. We come down on our back after a deep forward fold, as we did. It's really nice to stretch our back. Think of your back long, so you don't lift your hips away from the floor. And then you can massage exactly that place that was involved in your stretch. Beautiful. Getting into our hips. Left foot down on the mat. Take your right knee out to the side and go as wide out as you can. After this, grab your left hamstring or your left back leg and pull your legs in. If you're so lucky, you can reach with your elbow and push your leg out at the same time. Try to go for that. Probably you'll feel this here in your glutes and in your quads or outside of your outer edge of your thigh. And release. The other side as well, of course. Left leg up, left knee out to the side. And make sure that you don't have to do an even stretch on each side. Of course, we would like that it's the same amount of stretching we can do on both the right and left side. But maybe it's not just the way that you're wired, or if you have any injuries. So be mindful of that. And let go. Resting pose. So come down, all the way down. Stretch out your legs, let your feet fall out to each side. Let your hands come down on the ground. You take a huge inhale, hold your breath for a few seconds. And as you let go and exhale, let go of every tension in your body. And if that felt really great, do it one or two more times, okay? Huge inhale and exhale. Stay down on your mat with your eyes closed. And as we did in the beginning, opening up, letting God affect our lives. You are laying down with your palms facing out to the side, and that way opening your body. And maybe your prayer will be something like what I read at the beginning about living in love. So God, let us not just talk about love. Let's practice real love. Let us infect the world, the people around us, with love, with joy. Not something that we work out from inside ourselves, but joy and love that come from God, our Heavenly Father or parent. God, you'll help us to live truly and live in God reality. Help us believe, God, that you are greater than our worried hearts and know more about us than we do ourselves. If it makes sense to you, if you're laying down on your mat, maybe picture a waterfall of God's love, or a stream of water of God's love, running into your heart. And let your heart be filled with God's love, His peace. So that what flows from your heart will be peace and love, patience. And I encourage you to stay down on your mat for a little bit longer, as long as you need. Maybe with that picture in your mind of the waterfall. I will end the live stream now, but I will finish with a prayer, a blessing. God, may you bless each one that attended here, as their families, the people in their city. May you bring healing to our worlds. And may you give wisdom to everyone who is in charge of our countries, wherever they might be. We know that you ultimately are in charge, God, and we trust that you have a way through this. Maybe not out of it, but through this. Help us trust and lean into that. Amen.